Hey everyone, welcome back to the Paid Search Podcast. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, tried to get a little personal with you, tried to make the show a little entertaining.
Yeah, don't
You
do that.
couldn't handle it.
No,
We
I
have to
can't.
start
I'm
over,
gonna
and so we're starting
ruin
over. So what you
everything.
talked about, don't ever talk about that in public again, to me or anyone.
No one will ever know. The
Try to
editor.
get personal, try to get some
That's
things
it.
off my chest. No, you couldn't. You couldn't
No,
handle it.
don't. I'm
You
gonna
took
ruin
it to a weird red high heel place. We'll leave it at that. Just absolutely disgusting. And now I have that imagery in my head. So, Chris,
Yeah.
how are you? How are you doing overall? Everything
Doing
good?
great.
Yeah.
I was kind of down at first. We had like a serious conversation, and now I'm like, this is why I enjoy my time with Jason, because you just kick him a little, and he's it's kind of like when
You
you
do
like
kick me, like I was getting to before. A lot of people kick me, and that's the problem, Chris.
put
And
a
that's what's coming to an end.
You put a marshmallow in the microwave, and you just watch it blow up. I'm not going to eat it. I just want to watch it blow up.
Great. Yeah.
So
Good. Good. How are you? Good. I'm glad you're good. Yeah.
yeah,
You look
yeah,
good. You got a nice collared shirt on.
Yep.
Looking
Looking
good.
nice
Yeah.
today.
So do I. I've got a nice collared shirt on.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about bidding strategies,
Yeah.
and we're going to, I don't know, bidding strategies are very much different than they were
Oh yeah.
a year ago.
2023.
Very much different. Oh, but there's downsides too. You get into that different kind of conversions, things are going great, then you get that email from a client. We're not getting leads anymore.
Oh, that's a
And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
but the
bad.
cost per lead is really good. And they're
yeah,
like,
but
yeah, but it's one lead. It used to be 30.
mm,
We'll get into it. We'll get
Yeah.
into it, right?
Let's
We'll
talk
get
about
into
it.
it.
Let's
Ups
talk
and
about
downs, yeah.
well, first I want to tell you guys about Optio. Optio is how we make this podcast happen, and we really appreciate their sponsorship. And the fact is, you don't hear about us talk about anyone else because this is the sponsor we believe in. This is an amazing online software that you can try for free. Let me tell you what it does. You can jump into this software and just lift the worries off of you when it comes to Google Ads. Whether you are a professional doing this for many, many years or you're brand new at this system takes plain English and lays out your campaign in a way that anyone can understand. Have questions about your click-through rate, have questions about why your conversions are up or down, don't even know what to look at because you don't really understand the metrics. This system lays it out and says, hey, here's what's happening. Here's what we think you should do. You make the decision. It is the smart man's management tool. You want to be smart. You want to make good decisions about your account. Optio can get you there. Wonderful system to save you time in Google Ads. You can try it for free at optio.com/PSP. That is a 2-month free trial to try the entire software with your account. Link is in the description.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris. You made notes for today's show. You went with different font colors. You went with some bolded text, some non-bolded text.
Yep.
You went with bullet points.
Fancy.
Wow. You're nervous.
You're welcome.
You're nervous. You're on shaky ground. You don't know what you're doing with your bidding. That's why you want to talk about it. You want help. Came to the big guy, came to the right
Yeah,
place.
that's what
I'm
it
here to
is.
help. Centerpiece. Bidding strategies are not one size fits all.
You're not supposed to read the stuff in
Oh,
the
that's why
lighter
it's like
color.
gray. Okay. Let's see what else. Answer these with yes or no, and
No.
then answer why. Wow. Wow, like a robot, like a
That's
dog.
the-
I'm here to
that's
just take
the-
instructions.
Don't
Great
read
notes.
that part.
More instructions. Great. Keep
Oh,
that going. Today's podcast is about discussing the differences in bidding strategies in
You're
2023.
ruining everything. Oh,
Are you nervous?
This is-
Are you
I try and-
are manual bids failing you? Are you on shaky ground
no,
right now?
no, no, no,
Do you
no. I just want to
Okay.
help. I want to help the other people. I want to lift them up to the level that we're at, that I'm at.
I
assume
know,
you-
I know, but like 6 months ago, a year ago, it was like, whoa, we both do manual bids. 10% of the time we do automated when manual's not working and there's not much to talk about. But I've got things to say. You've got things to say. That means things are changing. So maybe
Yeah.
you're not on shaky ground. Maybe you still have confidence
Yeah.
in the manual bids as I do. But I mean, why are we talking about this? Like, what's going on? Like, are you seeing a lot of different things in the wild out there?
This is the. I mean, other than keywords, maybe that's the number one question. But number two question is always bidding strategies. Chris, what's the best bidding strategy? Chris, should I be using automated? Chris, I hear you talk about a manual all the time. Is manual better than automated? The fact is, there is no answer to any of those questions. There is no best bidding strategy. I don't know if you should change to manual because that's always a question that relies on tons of different variants. And I don't know if you should change to automated because the same is true there. So the whole thing is, I want to bring a couple questions forward here, and let's talk about different situations and how it changes our thoughts on whether this is a good idea or this bidding strategy is a good idea. Which one you would use, pros and cons. We get through a couple examples, and everyone learns something.
Wow, I like it. What a great
Yep.
topic.
Yep.
So the way you've broken it down is you have account bidding strategy options for new accounts who are literally in their first month, and then accounts with 1-year-old campaigns with conversion data.
Yeah.
This leads to a question. Are we going to call, well, I guess new accounts, that doesn't mean a new campaign in a long-term account with a bunch of data. New account means new account. Okay.
New account means new account, no actual conversion information yet. If anything, maybe 1 or 2, but it's a brand new account, no real historical data to go with, and we can just go.
Okay.
We can go down the list. So the idea is, Jason, would you do max conversions on a new account, new campaign? Thoughts?
No. Right?
Okay.
No. Is this a
Agreed.
trick question? Is it?
No,
Are you
not-
trying to trick
it's
me in
not-
front
no.
of the public? Because
That
if I
is-
was to say that yes there, I could really be stepping in it. Because why would
no.
anyone do max conversions on a brand new account that doesn't have conversion data? But I see it all the time
That's exactly what I was going to say. Why would they? But
because they want
do it
conversions,
all
but
the
you
time.
can't have conversions.
Yeah. Just because you say, I want conversions, doesn't mean they magically appear. Max conversions does not mean max conversions no matter what. It just means it's going to try. And in that case, no, I do not choose max conversions. And then the next one, max conversion value, same answer there for me. That's a no. It's not really any different. It's just a different setting that you can choose. And the answer's no. I would not choose that for a new account, new campaign with no real historical conversion data.
And the max conversion value means you actually put values on your different conversion types, and they'll try to get you the most value. So if a phone call is worth $20 and a lead form is worth $80, they'll try to get you phone calls at a lower cost than they will lead forms. And then if you're doing e-commerce, it's on the sale value. Chris, the tricky thing is, though, people start a new account, they see max conversions as an option in there, maximize conversions. They want conversions. So they think, let me do this conversion-based bidding. The tricky thing is, I've seen it work right off the bat sometimes. If you have a really good website you're taking people to, if you have conversion tracking in place, like all your conversions, website calls, calls from ads, lead forms, and you have really good keywords, you'll start putting up conversions quickly, and then it looks like it's working, and it very well could be working.
Yeah.
So not the worst thing in the world you can do, but a lot of times let me put it this way. To me, it's more about the conversions. Like if you have conversion actions being tracked and you're doing a good job of that and there's no loopholes, I'd much rather have that situation and I'll turn on maximize conversions day one. Don't try me, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yep.
Versus someone who tries to turn on max conversions and they're only tracking calls from ads. They're not tracking calls from website or lead forms.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like I
totally
think
agree. I feel like the
former is
risk,
better.
the risk is much greater whenever you don't really have historical conversion data, over months and years. The risk is so much greater. So yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But now that I said that, let me take that back. I take that whole thing back.
Oh, gosh,
take it back.
what?
I'm being honest here. I take it back. I don't like what I said.
Oh,
Maximize conversions. It just tricked me. It can trick anybody. It's such a beautiful name. You want conversions, but if you don't have history, conversion data history, you shouldn't be doing it. End of story, right? Like it's black and white here. And if you don't have all your conversions actions in place, it can still work. It's just going to get you clicks that lead to the kind of conversion actions you do have. So if you only have calls from ads, you're going to get those kind of conversions and you get less clicks to the website. So, which maybe is not a bad thing if you like those calls from ads, but I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So if you can't do max conversions on a brand new account with no data, you have an option of max clicks. Now I'm going to ask you the trick question. What feels like a trick question.
Oh, okay.
Brand new account, Chris, no historical data, no historical conversion data. Should you run maximize clicks bidding?
Would I? Yes. I don't know about should, but would I? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, would you? Yeah.
Max clicks. Yeah, absolutely. Maximize clicks bidding. Don't care about conversions. I'm just setting it up to just get traffic, get clicks, get impressions, get out there. Yeah, absolutely. Max clicks I would do.
Max Clicks is great for a brand
Yeah.
new account.
It
It's
is.
absolutely great.
It's
It's absolutely great.
If I had to pick between Max Conversions and Max Clicks, and both of them had 0 conversions, I'd go with Max Clicks every time.
If you had no conversion data.
Yeah, no conversion data.
Yeah, sure. Now, Max Clicks, you can mess it up big time on a brand new account. Big time.
Keywords, based on the keywords specifically. Is that what you mean?
No, based on putting a ceiling in there for the bid limit.
Oh.
In my opinion,
$2, something like that. You mean like way too low?
How about $40? You look at moving companies across the country.
Okay.
Over the last few years, you can get clicks for, on average, $18, $15, $20, $22. There's some areas of the Northeast where things are more expensive. I put in manual bids, $40, $45. We were getting no clicks, hardly any impressions on a brand new account. Now, maybe it had to do with the fact it's a brand new account. I flip it over to maximize clicks as a test to see if my manual bids were wrong. They ended up being wrong. In this area of the Northeast, maybe it's the area, maybe there's just 3 other advertisers that are bidding crazy amounts. We started getting impressions. We started getting clicks once I went maximize clicks. The data started looking normal, except for $65 cost per click movers near me, not even long distance movers. And I would not have been able to tell that if it wasn't for maximize clicks. And I wouldn't have been able to tell that if I did maximize clicks with a $45 bid limit. Yeah. So if you're doing maximize clicks to learn what the market is for your cost per click, to see what you need to bid at, a very bad thing you can do, in my opinion, is putting that ceiling on there, because you may not get to the threshold of what you actually need to bid. At least early on, take it easy with the ceiling.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when you do maximize clicks, do you ever run a ceiling?
On a brand new, no, not brand new. Not brand new, I don't. I mean, unless I'm working with something that's like super small budget, like, and I'm worried about it going too fast right away, like I'm working like a $500, $1,000 budget, something like that, and I'm like, I'm trying some really kind of bland, high funnel keywords. I need these to be cheap. I can't let it go crazy. Then I might put a cap. But any other situation, no, I'm not. If I got a serious spend with serious keywords, serious lead generation, I'm going max clicks, no limitation.
I swear I had a dream the other night. I was in Google Ads. I clicked to maximize clicks, and then I did click on put a ceiling in there. And instead of giving me an option to put a dollar amount ceiling, it just said, why don't you just do manual bidding, bro? And then I woke up.
That was a dream.
But isn't that a good point? Yeah. I think it was a dream. Yeah. Someone should check the interface right now, because it might say that. But
no,
if you're putting a ceiling in there, wouldn't you just be better? I mean, aren't you more in the manual bidding mindset at that point?
Well, let's talk about manual bidding, because I think max clicks and manual bidding, are I think the biggest difference for me is if you're going to do manual bidding, the advantage of doing that over max clicks is that you can itemize down to the keyword, but I think down to the ad group is more appropriate. You can say, think of it this way: manual bidding is basically max clicks, where you can set a bid cap at the ad group level. It's the exact same thing.
Or keyword.
But I don't really suggest that at the launch of a new account. So sure. I think that manual clicks, you want to think about it in the simplest term as you can. Just think, what is your max CPC for this ad group? Put $4. What's your max CPC for this ad group? Well, that's $8. What's for this one? Well, this one's only $1. And you base it on the value of the traffic that should be coming through there. That's how I think of manual, and that's the advantage of doing manual over max clicks.
I agree with that. The disadvantage is if you don't know what you're doing, the system's better than you by definition.
Yes.
And it will find enough. I mean, they say maximize clicks, and you think, I'm going to get the absolute amount of clicks possible.
Yeah, no.
And it doesn't ever feel like that, because your keywords generally are different from ad group to ad group in terms of the cost per click. Like, sometimes they're very different, and you may not get the most clicks from each ad group that you're wanting to get, or the mix of traffic that you can get and control with manual. So that's a downside of maximize clicks. The more ad groups you have, the more keywords you have, the less control over the flow. Yeah. But the benefit of it is that before you get data, maximize clicks is always better probably than any human on the planet, including us, for that first week of bidding to
Sure.
find the level on it, on just overall, if you say any industry. That's the beautiful thing about Maximize Clicks. Whatever it does on the back end, it'll find what it takes to get there. Here's why, Chris. Maximize Clicks can see what the other 10 advertisers in your market are doing in real time. We can't.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's something that it has some data, some, instantaneous type of bidding fluctuation that it can do that we can't see. So yeah, there's the advantage of Max Clicks, and I already discussed the advantage of manual. So next,
before we end manual, when do you do manual on a brand new account? And it's different for you and me because we have history with different industries. When would a brand new advertiser with a brand new account do manual? Should they ever do manual over just leaving it on Max Clicks at least for a couple weeks?
I mean, if you're asking me about what I do, the fact is I do manual every single time for everyone.
Everyone.
Every account I'm doing, I start with manual, period.
It's a crazy thing to say, but there's really, to take it even further, to make the point here, I wouldn't do this, but to make the point.
Yeah.
To make the point.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with, again, to make the point, putting $100 cost per click bids on all your ad groups on day one, manual.
Okay.
Because here's my point. If the market is 20, you're going to pay, I don't know, 20.1. You're going to pay 21. You're going to pay 30.
You're only going to pay, yeah.
You're going to pay ballpark.
You're going to find
out
high
end of the industry is.
You're going to find out what the cap is, and then you can go down from there. Yeah.
And then the next day,
drop it.
You can just go, oh, the cost per click was in the 30s. My absolute impression share was, or top percentage was 90. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me cool it a little.
Yep. Sure.
It's very, very, if you don't know what you're doing, you wouldn't want to do that.
Data.
But you get what I'm saying? Like it's very controllable. And that's how controllable manual is when you have experience. I'm just trying to make the point, Chris.
Yeah,
it's so controllable that I'll put on $100 bids on day one, and I'm not even concerned because I know you know what I mean? Like, It's so controllable, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think that is probably a crazy thing to do, but that is a great example.
What do you do? What do you do if you're not doing $100 bids?
I guess,
How do you know? How do you know? How do you know if you're advertising for cowboy boots versus storage facilities? How the heck do you know that?
I honestly, and it's experience. That doesn't help anyone listening to the podcast, but I'll tell you right now, if it was cowboy boots, I'll tell you right now, I bid $3. If it is storage buildings, I'm going to bid $8. I mean, off the top of my head, that is the experience that I had. So when it comes to e-commerce, I'm going to bid lower for anything that's searched in bulk, and anything that is competitive, localized, I'm going to bid much higher.
Stop talking. Stop talking.
Okay.
What you just said does not matter at all. It doesn't matter what you bid on day one, right? Because you're going to bid different on day two.
Yeah.
Because initially I judged you, and I was like, dude, those are low bids. Like, haven't you heard of the inflation? Like,
sure.
Like this ain't 1992. Mm-hmm. This is 2023, and I thought those were a little low for storage. $8, it's a little low for me. But here's the thing: I know the next day you're going to see, a few impressions on $100 day budget. What's going on?
Here we go.
In all the city in Houston, you're going to tell me I got 7 impressions for $100 day budget on storage? No, I'm too low, and you'll know to raise that. So it doesn't matter what you put on day one.
It doesn't matter.
But, what matters is the experience matters. So like manual bids without experience, I'm going to say no. Like, why not just go Maximize Clicks, make your life easy for
if you're nervous about it, go Max Clicks. Yeah. If you're nervous about it, go Max Clicks.
So there's one more in the mix here.
Yep.
Target impression share. Go ahead and say what you want to say negatively about this. This stepchild of bidding strategies, and then I will defend it because recently I've done this and it's worked out great. It's rare, but it worked out great. So go ahead and step on it.
I would
with those red.
Oh, I can't mention those. I would only use target impression share for something where I feel that every keyword, every ad group in that campaign is of equal value. And I don't really care what I get the clicks for, and I don't feel like there's any value or type that I want to push over one or the other. So I'm fine with that when I feel like it's all on the level playing field. Anything outside of that, if I feel like some are kind of crappy and some are really good, I care more about this than others, then I'm not using targeted impression share. I'm probably going to go with max clicks. Actually, that's not true. I'm going to go with manual bidding, as we discussed. That's what I'm going to go with.
Do you know, Chris? I've been advertising for an advertiser, small market, very small.
Okay.
Can't spend the full daily budgets we want to spend, so we have very big daily budgets on there compared to the spend level. Not worried about it because it never gets up there. Yeah, most of the keyword, very, very limited set of keywords. The advertiser just wants to advertise for one kind of thing specifically.
Okay.
Very, very same level of keywords across the campaign. I do manual. It worked. I do target impression share, trying to be aggressive like we want to be aggressive. Whoa, Chris, it worked different than manual, a lot better.
Wow.
Same thing, same cost per click. It worked better. Are you open to accepting that as truth, given what you've seen over the last year and a half with some different manual bidding or automated bidding strategies?
Yeah, as long as you don't get into that whole thing and try and limit the CPC and try and tell it I want this and this. There's ways that you can ruin target impression share by giving it limitations and then telling it you want 95% impression share coverage. You're going to screw it up and it's going to have limitations. But yes, I believe it, because
isn't that interesting?
What we haven't discussed yet is how much you and I have seen automated bidding improve over the years. And that's what we're going to get into after the break.
Back in the day, if you asked me if I would ever do target impression share, I would say no. I'm much more open to it these days. And again, I've seen it in situations mysteriously work better than manual with the same cost per click levels. It just worked better. And maybe that's the number one rule of Google Ads that a lot of people I know can't seem to follow. But if it's working, you better not break it. And by break it, I mean change it. Because if you change it, you're going to break it, because getting something to work is a very valuable thing with Google Ads. And what works for different advertisers, different accounts, different industries, different points in time is totally different for every account. Every account is unique. And if you crack the code in your account and then you have the stupidity to break it by changing it, that's trouble. So all I'm saying, Chris, is on this one, target impression share worked well. I have enough humility and skill and experience not to mess it up. And we've been rocking with that one for many months now. And it's just mysterious, but you can't mess up something that's working in Google Ads if you want it to keep working. So some caveats. Looks like you have some caveats here.
We've covered most of them. The main thing I want to say is, do any of these comments that we've made about these bidding strategies, they change based on the industry. We've talked about the different budget levels, but what about industry? And one thing I'll say for me, I want to talk about B2B, business to business. I said B2B to my wife the other day. She was like, "What? Business to business?" And she's like, "Oh, okay." So I just need to remember, not everybody knows the lingo. So business to business. And the fact is, this does change my thoughts. I am going to be much less inclined to use max clicks. Sorry, said that wrong. Max conversions when it comes to B2B. I am going to want finite control when it comes to B2B, because I am very concerned about unqualified traffic coming through. You know, you can get crap leads and stuff like that coming through. And, you know, it's not B2B, you know, all that kind of stuff. So that is, that's one thing I wanted to add there is B2B. When it comes to e-commerce, I'm much more open to max clicks, definitely max conversion value if I have conversions, but if not, max clicks is the thing I'm kind of looking for, because I want cheap e-commerce traffic to begin with, get everything flowing. And then last, B2C, business to consumer, business to customer. That's pretty much the default. Everything we said before, you know.
Business to Chris.
Business
to Chris. Could mean that too.
B2C.
Well, hey, when you're the customer.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, Chris, I can't.
Do you disagree?
I can't put a label on it. Like my line is, do these answers change with the industry? Yes, and they change with every single account. I'm going to take it there. Okay. Every single account, because I've been in B2B situations where it's very unique keywords, and they're very low volume. And we have trouble generating not just quality conversions, but conversion quantity.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I turn on maximize conversions and all of a sudden I start getting conversions. So that would be an example where in B2B it does work. And so it's like so unique to me to the account.
But we're talking mainly about new accounts here. No conversion. No action.
Is this a trick question?
No, it wasn't a trick. You just got it wrong.
Well, then it shouldn't even be a question because max conversions we already declared first month.
I know
it's a no-go. But yeah, taking it to the point where you have data. No, I don't look at the industry. I look at it by account basis because I've just seen so many. I mean, it's just the truth. I've seen so many weird things over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Of unique strategies working for unique accounts or different strategies working across different accounts that kind of open to everything. As we start out here. So we're going to take a break. We're going to regroup here. We're going to be talking about year-old accounts or older that have conversion data.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be talking about the different bidding strategies and how we think about those right after this.
Welcome back. I want to remind you about our sponsor. They are the best Google Ads Manager tool out there. You can try it for 2 months for free. We recently did an episode where I was talking about some of the amazing tools that they do with ad creation tools, where they can help you create creative ad copy in ways that you've never thought of, tools that exist outside of Google Ads because, hey, sometimes you need some help, and this is an amazing tool to get more done in Google Ads. Use the link in the description. That's optio.com/PSP to get a 2-month free trial. Click the little chat button at the bottom. Tell them you heard about it from Chris.
Chris, let's talk about accounts with some data now, because I mean, honestly, you talk about new accounts with no data.
Yeah.
You're doing manual bids if you have experience and you can change it based on the data that comes in every few days early on, or you're doing maximize clicks like early on when you start an account with no data. It's pretty simple. But things get very, very complex when you're running an account that's got a lot of conversion data. Before we even get to these different options, again, Chris, if something's working in Google Ads, that's a high threshold. And once you really feel what that feels like and you cross that threshold, I shouldn't say high. I should just say it's an important threshold, and one very easily you can pull back from if you mess it up. So changing the bidding strategy on an account that's going on for a year. I mean, you can obviously do an experiment anytime and be conservative about it and not mess yourself up. Fine. But outside of running an experiment, do you ever, where are the situations where someone would change their bidding strategy on a 1-year-old or longer campaign? Like, why would you even do that?
Yeah. So I feel like this question is the kind of thing where, you are not hitting KPIs, or you're seeing your account slowly, kind of creep out of your goal from whatever you were hoping to get. You used to be able to get this, and now new competitors are in, your cost per click's gone up, and you're not able to maintain the same click volume, and your conversion rate maybe has dropped or something like that. So my whole thought is something has changed beyond your account. Beyond the control of your account, and now you need to reassess, should I change bidding strategies? And the other situation is maybe you are inheriting, for our other managers out there that listen to the show, maybe you're inheriting a new account that's been running for a while, and you're jumping in, and you're thinking, should I change things? This is really done poorly. That's basically the idea here. I completely agree, Jason. One click, you click apply on a recommendation to change bidding strategy to X, just because the recommendation system just tells you to do it. The amount of destruction done when you do that without knowing what you're doing can be huge. So yeah, that's the discussion here. So the first thing is accounts has been around for campaigns have been running for a while, and they have conversion data. Absolutely, at this point, I'm going to start considering, and you said it well, run an experiment using max conversion value, whichever one's more appropriate. Max conversion value would be appropriate for e-commerce. max conversions would be appropriate for lead generation.
And within max conversions, you can put a target cost per lead or a
Yes.
target return on ad spend. Yeah. So, I mean, well, Mr. I always start manual. Mister I mean,
That's me.
everyone's laughing at it. $8 storage bids. No, I'm kidding.
It's a good guess at the beginning. Okay. I
That's
haven't run
fair.
those in a while.
No, I very well could be that, especially in lower population places. But Mr. Manual, you're a year into the manual campaign.
Yeah.
You're getting conversions. Are you really every time saying, I'm going to set up an experiment for maximize conversions? Or do you just keep manual going if it's working often?
I definitely set up an experiment.
You
I really
always
do.
You always want to try it now these days.
I do.
We have come a long way with maximized conversions.
Yeah, that's a big deal for me to even say that. But yes, I eventually, if I'm happy and I feel like I'm hitting a stagnant point. Now, here's the thing. I am not going to just do it just if it's 10% better or even 20% better. I have to weigh the risk and consider I now lose my ability to control my traffic quality at the bid level. I can
on the experiment.
Yeah, on the experiment. If I decide to push that experiment and make it live and apply it to the original campaign, I am now wiping any ability that I had to control which keyword spins the most, which keyword hits first position the most often, which keyword, even though it doesn't have great conversions, I know it's important to the client and I want to continue to push it. I lose all of that. So I weigh that whenever I make this decision to make that kind of change. But I absolutely consider it.
It's very tricky, Chris.
Dangerous.
If I have a large account with many campaigns, no brainer. The campaigns that are struggling,
sure,
like long-term account, many campaigns, large account
with lots of conversions,
lots of conversion data across.
Sure.
I don't care about the campaigns that are struggling. They're struggling because they don't get a lot of conversions, but a lot of conversions across the account.
Right.
Then those trouble campaigns, like really when the performance on them is a lot worse, I don't even need to run an experiment. Like we're not losing anything on them because they're not hitting their goal. So I'm happy to flip over to maximize conversions and test it. Have been doing that recently. It's interesting. Getting the job done in a lot of cases. And I go, wow, like we wanted to hit this cost per conversion. Other campaigns are hitting that cost per conversion. This one has not. Boom, all of a sudden it hits an even better cost per conversion. So can definitely work. I would say, I mean, honestly, Chris, if manual's working, if manual campaigns are working, like you're hitting your goals, you can experiment with max conversions, but that's going to lead you to a very difficult place, a difficult, dark place, Chris, because say your maximized conversions does a little bit better than your manual campaign.
Okay.
Just a little bit better.
Sure. Believable.
Well, it did a little bit better over those 2-month test period in the experiment, but you're going to be giving up the things you mentioned you're going to give up.
From that time forward.
Going forward. So is it worth it to flip over to that? That's, you better not have an answer to that, Mr. I have the answers, because I don't have the answer to that.
No, I don't.
That's tough, right?
It's always scary. And there's no way I could answer that. If someone asks, should I change this over? I'm getting 20% better conversion volume on automated versus manual. Should I change? I'd be like, it's impossible. There's no way I can answer that because I'd need to see all kinds of factors and weigh it, individually.
Yeah, I have this threshold with investing where an investment opportunity comes. You get a lot of opportunities, and then one smacks you in the face as a no-brainer. That's my threshold for investing. That's my threshold for going from manual to maximize conversions. I'm giving up stuff. If I'm going to give up control, if I'm going to give up the ability to, boom, client said lead volume is down, 30 seconds later, fix it. If I'm giving up that control, then it's got to smack me in the face, and it's got to be a complete no-brainer. Like maximize conversions is getting way more conversions and a way better cost per lead.
Should be drastic. To
make that switch. That said, on the campaigns that are not working, it's an easy decision. And Chris, on larger accounts, I get a lot of blended strategies where some campaigns are doing manual, doing fine. I have a really good feel for them, and then other campaigns, whatever, just never got the job done on those campaigns, I flip over to max conversions and run them at the same time. A lot of people don't have large accounts. They don't have tons of campaigns going, and it's an easy decision. Like maximize clicks, manual, it's not getting the job done. So you flip over to max conversions, and I would say as long as you have conversion data and as long as you feel confident about your thresholds for different conversion actions to enforce quality on those conversions, very good chance you're going to be happy with maximize conversions these days. Works really well in a lot of situations. So right up there with manual. I'd say it's almost equal in terms of a very good, the best strategies.
Yeah. Yep. And we got, I think, some pretty easy answers from here forward, going through the same thing. When it comes to max clicks,
no, right? No. Because this means you're not getting the job done with conversion data.
Yeah.
Before you think about your bidding strategy, you need to get conversions in place, right? Isn't that a pretty good?
Yeah. I think max clicks, changing anything to max clicks when you have conversion data, you're losing. I mean, if you're going to do automated, why not at least do automated with max conversions, not max clicks? Suddenly, the goal of the entire algorithm is now shifted to just volume and not quality, and that's a mistake. So that's an easy one. And then target impression share. I mean, again, I can't imagine a situation where you're going after new sales, new leads, and you would swap that.
But the question to change a strategy after you already have a year worth of data and you're getting conversion data and you've been doing something for a long time, the answer is in the bidding name itself, the bidding strategy. So like, should you flip over to max conversions? If you're having a conversion problem, you should look into that.
Okay.
If you're not happy with your impression share, if you want to be an advertiser who shows up number one 90% of the time, and you feel like you've been putting on very high bids, and you're still not there, that's where you could set up an experiment. You're having a problem with your impression share, whether it's a position thing or an overall impression share. Let the bidding strategy that's set up for that take a shot at it inside of an experiment. And so whatever your problem is, the answer of the problem is to try that bidding strategy that has that in the name. But that would be why you would want to do it. I guess the other reason, you just want to get a fresh look. Hey, here's another one. You want to see the different level of conversion quality at different positions, different impression shares. That's another thing you could experiment with.
Yeah. And last, manual bidding. So assuming that you're doing automated and you're considering changing it to manual, I mean, as Mr. Manual, as you crowned me, definitely.
Listen to that.
I totally would. Here's my favorite thing to do, Jason. When I get hired, my favorite thing to do is say, see this algorithm over here? See me? My job is to try and beat this algorithm. I consider it a contest. Like, he's that guy over there sitting there doing bench presses at 200, 250. Wow. And I'm like, watch this. I'm about to load this bar up and I'm going to out bench this thing. Sometimes I fail and I crush my skull with my overweighted barbell. Other times I win. But that is really fun. I love to do that. I love to see if I can outperform the algorithm.
This ain't the steroid era, buddy. I don't know what you do during CrossFit, but you can't be juicing on Google Ads anymore. And 2013 to 2018, that was the steroid era.
That was the heyday. Yeah,
I mean, we just beat the blank out of the algorithm.
Yeah,
I mean, every time you just destroyed it.
It was weak.
Yeah, and then 2018, I would say more like 2019, 2020 to 2022. 2019 to 2021. We had no clue what we were doing, and the algorithm had no clue what we were doing. Everybody sucked. West. Everybody sucked. Yeah, it was just no one knew what they were doing. Algorithm's pretty strong these days, and to just speak like that about the algorithm, like I'm not even going to say bad things about the algorithm because I don't know if this is a simulation. I don't know if the algorithm's already in control, but I'm not here to make it angry and competing with the algorithm. So you're going to go from maximize conversions. How's that going?
I told you, sometimes I fail, sometimes I win. And when I win, boy, it's a party. It's a special day.
Yeah. I would say you're not playing in fair fights. I think I think you have a gut feel at this point where you look at the algorithm, you look at the client's cost per goal, the algorithm's performance, automated bidding's performance. When we say automated bidding, we mean maximize conversions.
Right.
You look at that performance, you look at the goals the client wants, you look at the industry, you look at the account. I know every time whether I can beat it or not before even doing it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. I can look at it and tell, I can beat that. I mean, don't tell people that, don't. I mean, but
well, it's to answer the question of maximize. Should I go from maximize conversions for a year into manual bids? The reason why is because it wouldn't be working. Like if it's working, I mean, you can set up an experiment and run manual bids, but when it's really dialed in, it's hard to beat. So,
well, hey, I just lay it out here, Jason. That's what we do. Get naked, and I shared what I like to do.
I think the summary is this, Chris. We'll summarize things, but I mean, I don't want to hear about you naked anymore. So
okay,
we're just gonna jump to the summary.
That's.
I think I'm hung up here.
Yeah, that's it.
I think I'm just stuck. Yeah.
No, that's all. That was. I think that was a good discussion.
I think that's a lot. Wow. No, I think we can summarize here, Chris. New accounts, get away from the conversion before you have conversions. Get away from the conversion before you have conversions. Good. Max clicks or manual, great. 1 year older campaigns or accounts with conversion data, it doesn't matter what conversion you're trying to go from to and then from. What you're looking at, the big decision points are, am I getting the performance I want? And if you are, you can focus on other things, more search terms, better ad copy, more keywords, better ad copy, better assets, different kinds of campaigns, performance max, layering on those kind of things. But if you're not getting what you're wanting out of your cost per conversion, or you're not spending your full budget that you want to be spending, then the answer is you can try a different strategy. And then if you try a different strategy, it's kind of like an IQ test if you try it in an experiment or not. On the account level, because I did say on some campaigns they're just not working, you can flip over to maximize conversions. But like you always have that experiment option to keep things controlled. And those are kind of the decision points with bidding. It's a very complex field, a lot going on, but I think that would be a good way to kind of break it down for everybody.
And Jason, remember that text you weren't supposed to read, that gray text? Great time to read it on our way out. This is where it fits.
Well, Chris, thanks for adding that centerpiece right there.
You're welcome.
To the end table here, end of the discussion,
Mr.
And
Podcast.
We will see everybody next week. I'll be back with Mr. Podcast himself.